Jay Reynolds is joining us live from St. Joseph's. And Jay, how is the officer doing right now?
Steve, the officer was brought here to St. Joseph's with a head injury, and they're now telling us he's listed in critical condition.
Jay Reynolds joins us live from Gardner's World in Phoenix. Jay, help us save the money we spent on landscaping. Show us what we need to do.
Well, it depends on how cold it gets, Katie. You can use a frost blanket like this, or for another layer of protection, you can use a spray. You put it on your plants, it coats it, and works as an insulator.
Jay Reynolds joins us live. And is there anything we can do if the heater stops working, say, before we even call somebody?
Katie, there is a quick fix. You can change the batteries in your programmable thermostat. But if that doesn't work, you may have to call an expert.
Jay Reynolds joins us live now from the airport where the soldier just arrived. Jay, this is the first time he's been back in the Valley since an injury a year and a half ago?
That's right, Steve, and hundreds of people showed up here to welcome Corey Rimsberg home, but his dad was the first one to give him a big hug. Friends, family, and total strangers held signs welcoming Corey home. They thanked him for his service and, of course, wished him a Merry Christmas. Corey suffered severe brain trauma in Afghanistan about a year and a half ago, and after 4 months in a coma and rehab, he is now able to spend the holiday at home with his family.
He's got a great attitude and he just keeps working hard. It's very inspiring.
Corey's planning on staying about a week in Arizona. At 5 o'clock, we're going to show you who else showed up here at the airport. It was a pretty impressive sight. At Sky Harbor Airport, Jay Reynolds, ABC 15 News.
I tried to scream, I tried to thrash, I tried to move.
Darren Purcell's life changed in the summer of 2009 during an operation.
You basically feel like you're just being gutted and there's nothing you can do about it.
17 months later, the panic attacks still interrupt his sleep.
You finally start to pray to God for help and nothing happens, it just keeps going, and finally you get to the point where you pray for death.
Darren experienced what's known as anesthesia awareness.
Anesthesia awareness is when a person wakes up in the middle of a general anesthetic and has recall of that event.
Department Chair of Anesthesiology at Mayo Clinic in Phoenix, Dr. Dan Cole.
Anesthesiologists consider something that is unmanageable. We do everything we can to prevent it.
But he admits it does happen, and more often than you might think.
It does occur with about 1 to 2 times out of 1,000 cases.
That's an estimated 60,000 times in the United States each year.
The anesthesiologists consider one case one too many.
The support group Anesthesia Awareness is pushing for brain monitors in every operation. That's not happening now. The American Society of Anesthesiologists doesn't think it's necessary.
The ASA advisory came through with a recommendation that we should use the brain monitors on a case-by-case basis.
Dr. Cole feels education of patients about the risks and knowing your doctors is of paramount importance.
You should have comfort and you should have a security in knowing that the anesthesiologist is there to treat you as a member of their family.
A mistake Darren says he made when his anesthesiologist was replaced at the last minute.
Knowing what I know now, when that anesthesiologist canceled for the surgery, I would have said, okay, that's it, we're not doing surgery today, goodbye.
A choice he now suffers from every day, with hope someday he can overcome it.
It's just the most horrible experience that I've ever had in my life, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
And no one else will have to suffer this same nightmare on an operating table. In Phoenix, Jay Reynolds, ABC 15 News. If Hausner does testify, Dietman could be brought back to rebut his testimony. This boat has been in the water for about 6 months, so you can actually see the mussels. But if you brought your boat out just for the day, you could be transporting them and you wouldn't even know it. It was built in 1934 as a courthouse and jail. Welcome to Stanfield, a small town south of the valley and on the front lines of illegal immigration.
It's bad. It's really bad.
The signs of drug smugglers and illegal immigrants are everywhere, just walking distance from Richard Coons's house.
You can see the knapsacks and the packs on the ground and stuff that they discarded.
It's not just abandoned clothes and water bottle. Coons says the immigrants are literally coming out of the bushes.
We see at least 3 or 4 a day, and sometimes 10 or 15.
10 to 15 to 1. He feels outnumbered.
A little scary, because if you're not armed, What do you do?
So he took steps to feel more safe.
I went out and bought a shotgun.
Living among drug traffickers, he doesn't understand the name-calling and the protests against the new law.
We're not rednecks out here, and we know what's going on. I see it.
Adding those who are speaking the loudest don't know what they're talking about.
Somebody can come out of state and come down here and boycott for what? They don't come here to see it. Live here and see what it's about, and then they'll know how bad it is.
In Stanfield, Jay Reynolds, ABC 15 News.
A bathing suit covers the same amount.
This is Phoenix resident Tammy Banovas, waiting to go through security in Oklahoma City wearing a bra and panties.
There were no concerns or no issues about public indecency.
The move to take off her clothes stems from an incident she says happened 2 weeks ago while being patted down for screening.
The TSA agent ran her hands up my skirt. It was a most unpleasant experience.
To avoid the pat-down, Banovas derobes.
The bra and panties is just to expedite the procedure.
She's done it 3 or 4 times before without an issue. She says for some reason one TSA official in Oklahoma had a problem with it.
He was just making a point.
Airport officials point out they had good reason to not let Banovas fly on Tuesday.
Trace detection did come back positive with some kind of nitrate.
But early Wednesday morning, Banovas tried again, still in her bra and panties, with the same bags as the day before, no problems, and no nitrates showing up.
Wonder where they went overnight.
She says she'll keep taking off her clothes when she flies.
I would rather do that than go through what I did the first time.
To avoid a pat-down, which she called a groping by TSA. In Phoenix, Jay Reynolds, ABC 15 News.
That is a miracle.
The familiar tone of the Salvation Army's bell ringers, bringing in all kinds of donations.
A few 20s here and there, and 10s and 5s.
The melodic tones brought Robert Bauer to the kettle.
Just felt that it was the right thing to do.
But on Saturday, an anonymous donor went above and beyond the normal donation at this Safeway in Goodyear in the form of a coin wrapped in a $1 bill.
So when she opened it up, she says, "Oh, look, do you think it's worth anything?" And so I looked at it and I said, "Yeah, it's a cougarang."
A South African coin about the size of a quarter, worth around $1,500.
Oh, that's awesome. That someone would put a cougarang. You know, that's incredible.
It's a 1 ounce, 0.22 fine pure gold, and it's absolutely beautiful.
A rare donation. In Captain Torres's 15 years with the Salvation Army, she's only seen something like this 3 times. And with the kettle donation numbers being down this year, it's perfect timing.
That coin equates to a whole day's work of about 20 people, which is amazing.
But whether it's a gold coin or a small donation like Robert's,
that's the holidays, is what it's about, family and giving.
The Salvation Army says every little bit helps. In Goodyear, Jay Reynolds, ABC 15 News. Meet Lucy. The newest member of the Pintico family didn't come easy.
Mother's Day morning, we woke up to a little kitten cry somewhere in the wall.
They couldn't tell where. Luckily, Dan works for Mr. Reuter.
So I went to the shop and picked up one of our plumbing cameras, and we started to inspect from there.
The cat might have come in through the roof and finally ended up in the bathroom wall.
Within a couple minutes, there she was.
After cutting open the wall,
I know, we found you!
the kitten was out. 9-year-old Danielle was quick to put her claim on the cat.
Can I have him? Can I?
I said, well, it'll take a miracle, Danielle, to have a cat. And I would say that this is a miracle.
Lucy is doing fine.
After two bottles of the good milk, everything was okay.
And Danielle is doing even better.
My daughter, of course, is just elated with the situation.
I'm happy now.
She became an adopted mother to a tiny little kitten on Mother's Day. In Mesa, Jay Reynolds, ABC 15 News.